Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
What is up? What is up? What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called the Wait a Minute Show. Back again in the building to talk about the sports, right? We'll get to it in just a moment. So we're going to be, talking about some teams that are no longer undefeated. We got some teams. This is all NFL talk. Let me just put that out there. All NFL talk this week. We're just going to talk about stuff that happened in week 11. We got matchups, head scratchers. We got a big L award. Right. Someone's going to take a L today. Got to do it. Got to do it. Got to do it. But before I do anything else, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and follow your boy if you haven't already. Again, it's another week. I'm getting closer and closer to the holiday. So do not forget the Wait a Minute Show toy drive is kicking. I'm going to go ahead, run the promo for you right now. So check it out. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, it is that time, the holiday season. So it is time for year 12 of the Wait a Minute Show toy drive, and I need your help this holiday season. So going on from November 1st to December 14th, the Wait a Minute Show toy drive is where we sponsor kids from Helping Hands of Paulding County, a nonprofit organization, and kids 1 through 18. We sponsor those kids and get them what they want for the holiday season. And how we do that, I do it with your help. So I need your help once again. I go out there through your donations and I get what it is that they want. So it's real simple and real easy to do. All you have to do is go to thewaitaminuteshow.com. Again, that's thewaitaminuteshow.com and choose your option of PayPal, Cash App, or GoFundMe. And it does not matter. $1, $2, $5, it all adds up. We were able to help 22 kids last year. We're trying to help more this year. And we only can do that with your help. So again, go to thewaitaminuteshow.com and choose your option, PayPal, Cash App, or GoFundMe, and make it a memorable 12th year holiday season for a kid out there. I need your help, everyone. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, hey, I appreciate anything. $1, $2, $5, it all adds up, man. And we are able to get some items for some kids. So let's jump into the first thing that we're talking about, and that is we now have officially, I knew this day would come, I just didn't know when, but we officially have no unbeaten teams in the NFL no longer because the Kansas City Chiefs lost their first game to the Buffalo Bills. And this was the game. I told Bills fan, it was like, don't jinx me, Jelani, don't jinx me. And I'm like, I'm not jinxing you. I'm just telling you, this is the day where Kansas City loses, right? And that's exactly how it played out with the Buffalo Bills beating Kansas City in Buffalo. So I'm not surprised that Kansas City lost. Look, here's the thing. If you go back and you look how the season has transpired, everyone's been talking about the defense as they should, but also the offense has not been able to produce like they once were able to. And you were going to run into a team that was going to have probably a bigger, higher output or more of an offensive firepower, which is the Buffalo Bills. Because they're one of the top teams in that AFC. And look, they're getting up for this game. Obviously, you have a back and forth that you, if you're a Bills fan, that you've been going back and forth with Chiefs fans. So this is a game that they got up for. This is a game where Josh Allen really was able to show, look, I have progressed, I have matured, I have evolved as a quarterback, as a leader, and he showed that on the field yesterday, right, or on Sunday. So I'm not surprised that they won. Kansas City, they have been barely beating some teams, right? So it was just a matter of time before they went up against. They barely won against Atlanta. You could say, they kind of got away, against Cincinnati early. You had that foot toe with Likely and the Baltimore Ravens. So it was things that was transpiring throughout the season. Eventually they were going to run into a team that wasn't going to let them off the hook, or they weren't going to be able to get off the hook. And that was the Buffalo Bills. Now, I think the best thing for the Kansas City Chiefs, and I've said this before the season started. I don't have the Kansas City Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl. Obviously, I had them in the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to make it to the Super Bowl. But now they can take this thing, and Pat Mahomes kind of talked about it, and take this thing of this undefeated season off off your shoulders and everything. Which I didn't think anybody needed to be focused on. If you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan or anything like that, because the goal is to win the third Super Bowl. Who cares if you go, undefeated? Yeah, that's great, but no one ever remembers, unless you win the whole thing. No one ever remembers anybody going undefeated during the regular season. So I think this is a good thing for them. They don't have to focus on that. They still have some things that they got to fix. With that offensive output, they're going to be getting Pacheco back pretty soon here. But going down the field, attacking, defenses, with their passing game hasn't been as it had been before for the Kansas City Chiefs. So this might be. I don't want to say this is similar to the Eagles last year when they finally got that one loss against San Fran and everything started, going downhill because Philly's problem was that on their defensive side, for some reason they weren't able to, stop teams and they were in shootout. So I don't think that is Kansas City's, situation. But I do believe that, hey, now you can just focus on winning a Super Bowl, trying to win a Super Bowl, trying to win this third Super Bowl. I told everybody it was going to be hard, right? It's going to be difficult, for them to do it. They have been playing longer than anyone has the past 2.5, 3 years. So that wear and tear and everything that it takes to lock in mentally and everything, that's hard to do each and every week, right? So that's what they're trying to accomplish. But not all of the world is not over just because the Kansas City Chiefs lost one game. Now, Buffalo, I can't even say this is a signature win because they have beaten Kansas City before. So this is not a win that gets them over the hump, but this is just a win that gets them closer to their goal. And Josh Allen talked about it, about them just being 9-2. And he's absolutely right. You're 9-2. In that locker room, Josh Allen is telling those guys is that we're supposed to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. This is not a, Hercules kind of moment or anything like that. This is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to beat them. We're supposed to beat a team, like the Baltimore Ravens. We're supposed to beat, the Steelers. As far as like in the AFC, the top tier teams, because we are one of the top tier teams. So they're taking this in stride. It's another win. Obviously, they feel good about it, but they have beaten Kansas City, before, and chances are that they may see them again in the playoffs, and they can just build, off of this. But I think more than anything, Buffalo is in a spot, in a position, really to take command, of the AFC. Baltimore, which we'll get into in just a moment, has slipped up a little bit. The Steelers, they got some, questions, but they're strong. Can't leave the Steelers out because they keep proving, people wrong. But I think Buffalo has kind of put themselves just a little bit higher, even though they got two losses, one loss, versus one loss team. That doesn't mean, you're necessarily the best team or worst team or anything like that. But good win for Buffalo. Obviously to keep the train rolling in the AFC and also just in the AFC in general. So I'm not surprised. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised that they won. I expected them to win. So Buffalo fan, stop thinking I'm trying to jinx you when I say y'all are going to win a game. All right. Look, I'm just looking at it and I'm giving my honest opinion on it. This takes no opinion at all because this is factual that Daniel Jones, now no longer the starting quarterback for the New York Giants, has been given a seat. And it looks like he's the third quarterback because Tommy DeVito is going to start and Drew Lock is going to back him up, according to reports. So another thing that I'm not surprised by, this was coming. We've gotten to that moment where it's just time. It was just time. There's a lot of things that you can point the finger at if you want to, but at the end of the day, Daniel Jones didn't play well enough. And also, this is even the situation because I think the Giants really were trying to bank on or hoping that Daniel Jones would get out of this funk or progress, further than he was when they went on that little run a couple of years ago in the playoffs where they beat the Vikings, but it never happened. It just never developed like that. They gave him a bunch of money. They picked him over Saquon Barkley. Let's just be honest, because we can't pay both of them, so we're gonna pay the quarterback. And I think this is more they were trying to hold on as long as they could to justify because they had their questions about Daniel even on Hard Knocks if you watch that. So they tried to justify it and it didn't work out. And now you're at a point where you don't want him to get hurt because you don't want it. This is the a la Russell Wilson kind of thing that was in Denver, is that you don't want him to get hurt because you don't want to owe him any money, because at this point you are going to cut him. You're going to cut him at the end of the year because you don't owe him any more money, and then Daniel Jones will be playing somewhere else. Now, I'm not going to, again, I'm not doing the finger pointing. It's just more accepting your part for the situation. So Daniel Jones, I don't think he's ever going to say, well, I played well. He didn't play, well enough. Did the Giants really help him out with him back there running for his life at times as well? No, they didn't. To me, I really think that what they should have done, and maybe I'm wrong. I'm not in the management, business in the NFL, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong about this. But I never understood why it had to be either Saquon or Daniel Jones. I just felt like give Saquon his money because obviously he is the engine that makes that thing run. When you look at his win-loss record with Saquon versus without Saquon, give Saquon his money, and then you can tag Daniel Jones. Now maybe his agent was like, "Nah, we're not doing that." That could have been the thing, but I still would have been like, "We're gonna tag you," and there was nothing leading up when they won that playoff game. Leading up to it, there was nothing that told me or made me feel comfortable enough to say, you know what, he got it. He got it. He had some good spots. He had some good moments, but does he have it? And I didn't see that, from Daniel Jones. But I'm not gonna blame Daniel Jones. If the Giants gonna give me 40 mil, I know good and well I can't throw 40, 50 yards down the field, but I'm gonna take the money. Definitely gonna take the money, and I'm gonna give my best. I'm gonna do my best, to give you all that I got. That's all I can say, on it. But this is another thing that's not a surprise to me. You're going to now focus on a quarterback. You need to add someone to Malik Nabers. Obviously, the things are going to transpire, and the rumors are going to start with the Shedeur Sanders and others that's going to be coming out this year. You could be looking at maybe trying to trade for a vet or someone else in that spot. But the Giants, they should have did this 2 years ago. But people seem to think that Daboll is gone as well, and I don't know. I'm not sold on Daboll being gone, because he won Coach of the Year, did a tremendous job with Daniel Jones in that season. So I think the Giants are looking at as, if we improve upon the quarterback situation and some other positions, don't get me wrong, they still got some other things they need to do, that will give Daboll more to operate with. So I think Daniel is done, definitely. I don't think Daboll is done. I could be wrong on that, but I don't think they're going to move on from him just yet, looking at the situation. Now, hopefully they're going to look at the situation and be like, this dude, could do some things with a different quarterback. But I don't know. They did let Saquon just go, But who am I? What's next? Oh, Pittsburgh. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? And the Baltimore Ravens. I watched that matchup, and shame on me. Shame on me. Let me go to the side for a second. Shame on me playing guys, other than the kicker, which I racked up in my fantasy league, Boswell. But shame on me for thinking there was going to be this offensive output because the Baltimore Ravens, pass defense, I think was 31st, in the league. So I should have learned my lesson. This matchup, I don't recall a Baltimore Pittsburgh, and maybe Baltimore fans, Steeler fans, you can educate me on something if I'm wrong. But I really don't remember a game where it was a barn burner and they were just going out because it's such a physical game and they're always fighting, right? So shame on me, for that. But the game itself, I still think it was a good game. I think it was an entertaining game. But we still got one thing that continues to happen with the Baltimore Ravens, and that are turnovers and there are penalties, right? And this continues. So it is what it is. When looking at it, is that Lamar talked about, they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Yeah, part of that is, shooting yourself in the foot. But also part of that is that, you know what? Pittsburgh is big brother right now. Until you do something different, until you change it, they're big brother. And how you do that? One, I'm shocked to find this out, is that I didn't even realize Derrick Henry didn't even run the ball in the fourth quarter. And I know John Harbaugh has talked about, like, we didn't get Derrick Henry to give him 20 times a game, but you need to give him, in certain situations, you need to give him the ball as many times as needed. And this was a game in that Derrick Henry should have easily probably had 20, 25, carries. You can go back to, I think he had 13 carries in that game. You can go back to the 13 carries against another team, but against this team, against the Steelers, you got to empty the clip is all I'm saying. Everything is on board. I don't think anybody would have had an issue with it, and it's a division rival as well. You don't want to lose to a division rival. Now Pittsburgh, all credit to them. Again, we talked about the turnovers from Baltimore. Two of those, or actually I think three. You got the Isaiah Likely strip or fumble strip. You got the interception by, what was the kid name? I think Chase Wilson from Travis Hill, and then you got Derrick Henry who fumbled as well. So those are three opportunities right there. Now they did not score any touchdowns. They score all field goals. But the way that the game was going, again, this is how Baltimore and the Ravens. I mean, this is how Baltimore and Pittsburgh plays, and Pittsburgh did an excellent job of not making as many mistakes as the Baltimore Ravens. You got that one where Russell threw that interception. I don't know what he was thinking or where he was. I don't know what that was. It was for whatever, but they were able, to overcome that. They kept Baltimore honest, with a decent run game. They made plays when they needed to make plays. A dirty, drawn out fight, as usual, in this. And these are type of games that you could run into in the playoffs, where Pittsburgh's defense is such a problem. It changes up how you play the game, right? You could come in and be averaging 30 points. But with that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, next thing you know, it's 17, and then they're right, they're right in it. So I think Pittsburgh, their identity, they know what they are. They know what they do well, and that's what they're doing. They're implementing it. So I'm not. If Baltimore had won, I wouldn't have been, shocked, or the Steelers had won, I wouldn't have, winning. I'm not shocked. That's just how these two teams, are. But I am shocked, though, is that they did not use Derrick Henry often, because he broke one run. If it wasn't for Minkah Fitzpatrick, I don't know, he might have been able to take that to the house. But one thing I do know about Derrick Henry, just from watching him from afar, of course, is that as time goes on, he does this every time. Ask the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? You got him, you got him, you got him. He got 20 yards, and then he'll break a 80-yard for a touchdown as the game goes on, later and later and later. And I'm just surprised that Baltimore didn't do that, to just keep trying to force feed in the fashion in which the game was. The game wasn't out of hand. It wasn't that you had throw a lot or anything like that. You still could have kept the run game. So I'm shocked when it comes to that. But that's the game of football. Last thing we're going to talk about before I get into the Big L Award is another game that transpired. The LA Chargers, right? And I'm still getting used to calling them LA because I want to say San Diego so bad. But the LA Chargers against the Cincinnati Bengals, in which LA was up by a lot. They almost, blew that thing, but they came back and won 34-27 in that matchup. I want to talk about the Bengals. Well, let me talk about the Chargers really quick because I want to get the Chargers some kudos. Is that props to Jim Harbaugh for coming in there and he's changed that culture. And you know me, I talk about culture all the time. I talk about how it's big from top down, right? And it goes through your franchise. And I think Joey Bosa said it is that there are games now that they believe that they can win, which is saying that what we had before, coaches, players before, they didn't believe, right? And when you believe and you have that confidence, it does wonders, for you in your performance. And we saw that in that game. Now, Cincinnati, this is the crazy part about Cincinnati. They continue to struggle in the months of September. We already know that. But my fear is that we're going to be talking about the Cincinnati Bengals um, in a few years, and we're gonna be saying they only got the one Super Bowl. Like I don't understand it. This team is so talented, and I don't understand how they continue to find ways to lose. Well, I do. Part of it, people have been talking about this, for weeks. Is the defense? Is that the defense is not able to stop anybody? So then Joe Burrow is in these shootouts, in these games, and Joe Burrow has been balling out, but you only can overcome so much. And where you tell me, put it in the comment section if you know why the Cincinnati Bengals are struggling, because I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss of how you get this slow start, but I'm at a loss. Is it Jamar was just talking about, ask the coaches and everything. Is it that simple? Is it the coaches that is hindering this team? Is there something they need to change at one of the coaching positions? It's just baffling. It's baffling that, and they have some good guys on defense, right? I'm not gonna say there's some vaunted defense or some defense that scares the living crap out of everybody, but they fly around the ball, and I don't know if it's just mental mistakes, if it's just miscommunications, but it seems like this continues to happen, and mathematically they're still in it. Um, they could go on a run and win the rest of their games to at least make it interesting to try and get into it. It's going to be hard though. It's going to be hard because you got Baltimore and you got Pittsburgh in your division, so you're looking for someone to slip up in one of those other divisions so you can slide in there. But it's really tough, for the Cincinnati Bengals. So I'm lost when it comes to this team because Joe Mixon leaves. They don't get the same, and you're not. Nobody is Joe Mixon, on that team. But Chase Brown and Zach was to me collectively, and Chase Brown, to me he's been doing this thing uh in that backfield for them. So it's not like they took like some dramatic step back from this team. You still got T. Higgins, you got Jamar Chase. Speechless. Speechless. So uh one thing I'm not speechless on, and I told you I was going to give a Big L award out, and that's where we're at right now. But again, notifications, turn them on, subscribe to the channel before I get into this. So I want to talk about the Bengals, and I need to pull up some information that I have here that I want to look up because I want to share this information. So we're just talking about the Bengals, and I was talking about this, I think, before the season where we were talking about Jamar Chase and his contract and he's not showing up, or he want to get paid, and the Bengals, whatever. And the Bengals have been in the news before for not wanting to pay, or not negotiating, I guess, well, or nice with some of their players. We saw it with Carson Palmer and others, on this team. But I never really understood why they did not pay Jamar Chase this year, because I kept saying, look, give him the money now, because next year, unless he has a horrible year or something like that, he's going to ask for even more. Even more. And what do you think happened? What do you think happened? Look at this. I wonder what, look, since he came into the league, his first year, rookie season, 1455, 13 touchdowns, 1,455 yards, all 17 games. Then he played 17 games, 12 games the next year, 1,046 and 9 touchdowns. Still almost got to double-digit touchdowns and over 1,000 yards in 12 games. Last year, 12-16 in yards and 7 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, right now, 11 games in, they're about to go on by. So they got, what's that, 6 more games left, is 1,056 yards and 12 touchdowns. 12 touchdowns. This dude is on 12 touchdowns. He could probably get 18, 19. He could get 20 touchdowns. What do you think he's going to be asking for next year? You think he's going to be asking for the same thing he asked for this year after the season he's having now? You never was going to let him go. You never was going to trade him. You didn't give T. Higgins his money because you wanted Jamar Chase, because you're like, we're not going to be able to pay both of them. But for some reason, you did not pay him this year, knowing that he still was going to ask for more money next year, because you still have some other wide receivers that's probably going to be coming out. Not that many, but you're still going to have some other wide receivers. He's going to be one of them, resetting the market. Go ahead. While Amaron got his money, while Justin Jefferson got his money, other wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb got his money, Brandon Ayuk got his money. Give them all that money now. Ain't nobody gonna go into next year asking for last year's money. And now I'm scared for what what he's gonna ask. And then he's gonna take up even more of your cap space. You're paying Joe, now you gotta pay him. And we just talked about how you have this problem on your defense of stopping people. Who you gonna pay? Who you gonna pay? Who gonna come there and take a pay cut? I don't understand it. So I don't know their formula. I don't know what blueprint that they got, but it just doesn't seem like it works. Maybe I'm missing something, but the Cincinnati Bengals trying to kick the can down the road on paying Jamar Chase because it has backfired. You got to take a big L on this one, bro. I'm lost. I'm totally lost. You're going to pay more money than you paid, or than what was asked. Because what's the term that they say? Today's price ain't yesterday's price. Yeah. Next year's price ain't going to be last year's price. So, oh well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another one in the books, man. Make sure, again, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Make sure you hit up the toy drive as well. The waitaminuteshow.com. You can go there. You'll see the toy drive button. And then you can make a donation, man. I appreciate all of y'all. So everybody be good out there, man. I will holler at y'all next week. We'll keep talking about this sports. And make sure, check out some of my other episodes that's out there. Single shows, single topics, as well. So check those out. But until then, I'm going to holler at y'all later. 2 things as always. Stay positive and push forward. And I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.